Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming a legendary character actor, and I am talking about Pepe Serna. Pepe Serna, of course, he's been in so many classic movies like Car Wash, The Jerk, Scarface, The Adventures of Buckaroo, Banzai, Across the Eighth Dimension, Silverado, so many great movies. And I'm having him on the show today to talk about all of them and stuff. He also does one-man shows, and he's a painter as well. And I want to get into all that stuff today. Just such a great, prolific career this man has had, and I am just truly honored. So, here is my interview with Pepe Serna. Hey, Pepe, welcome to the show. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome. I hope you're staying safe during this time of quarantine.
Yes, I am. We're doing all right.
That's good. This is such an honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
You bet, my pleasure.
So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting at an early age in your childhood?
At 3 years of age, I knew I was coming.
Wow,
I knew where I was going, yeah. I was one of the lucky ones.
Were you?
Everything I did my whole life, I was performing. I knew that, yeah. The answer is yes.
Did your parents take you to see a particular movie that just said, I want to do that?
No, well, mainly I grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas. I was born at the Corpus Christi Naval Base. My dad was in the Navy. Mm-hmm. My mother went to see all the old, they used to call them the películas de oro, the golden age of cinema in Mexico, with all the great Mexican filmmakers and actors and actresses. And so we would go all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and go to the movies a lot as a kid.
Did you get involved in school plays and community theater and all that?
I did. Later on, once in high school, but everything I ever did, it was pure performance. Mm-hmm. I was back in the day, we were all athletes. We were all at the park, mm-hmm. From sun up to sundown in the summertime, and so it was always like I said, everything I did, every sport I played all the sports, baseball, basketball. I was there to entertain. You know, if I was batting, I was crouching way down, acting like a monkey on the on the base path. Distracting the other players, and yeah. So it was always, and we were members of, as teenagers. Well, even in Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, I would be the one if there needed to be somebody with a broken leg to show how to put it in a splint. I would be the guy that would have the leg in the splint, and it was the worst broken leg you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So I was reading that you were originally a painter before acting.
No, I didn't start painting till I met my wife.
Oh, okay.
And I was on one of my first locations in Santa Fe in 1970. I got to do, but my first piece of art that, well, I did a little, I sculpted a kind of like a necktie out of like balsa wood, mm-hmm. When I was in the Cub Scouts. That's the first piece of art that I remember making, and then I was we at the Renaissance Fair out in Topanga Canyon with my improv group. We went out there, and I brought back a bunch of tree limbs stuff. Mm-hmm. I made a triangular hutch for plates and cups and stuff mm-hmm. that I had for several years till it was eaten up by termites. But that was it was one of those things that we got in an argument with my wife before we were married. I met her the second day I got to Hollywood, but got in an argument and she went off. And you know, a lot of times anger makes you do stuff. You know,
right?
I'll show her I'm going to create something beautiful. So yeah, and she was always a big supporter of my art. She's always loved my artwork.
That's wonderful. So you were doing improv during that time too? Yeah.
When since I grew up, everything was improv. Playing every sport, being the quarterback, just having the dancing. My first time that I remember, I jumped up when I was 3 years old. I jumped up in my godfather's boxing ring. He lived across the street, and after the boxers stopped sparring and stuff, and were done for the night, mm-hmm. I would jump up on the boxing ring and start pretending like I was shadow boxing, and I think, from what I hear, I must have intentionally knocked myself out with one of my wild blows. So, and then they laughed, so I did it again, and then they didn't laugh, so I realized you can't repeat it. You have to be new every time. So everything was always very improvisational. I wasn't a good student, but I loved to interact with people. I never skipped school one day because I wanted to be around people entertaining. I still can't get it out of my system. I mean, I've always been interjected and myself into conversations. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm in the mall and a dad is with his kids and something is going on, I'll butt in with something. You know, it's just my nature.
Yeah. Was there anybody in your improv group that later went on to become successful in the business?
There were different ones that did different things, but like my friend Corey Fisher mm-hmm. went on to do. He was like in with Robert Altman and Danny Goldman. They were like in Brewster Miss Cabe and Mr. McCabe and Miss Miller or whatever it was. And,
yeah.
And before that, MASH. And they then Danny Goldman became a casting director, and Felton Perry, and then Corey, and then Naomi Pollock went on to she did Jewish theater with Corey Fisher, like up north, and Judy Chaikin went on to direct a few documentaries and things, and Nick Ullett, who was Ullett and Hendra. Mm-hmm. He had done probably the most when I got to LA in '69, and we even performed together. We used to improvise songs, and he could really sing and play, and I would just improvise. I had no shame. So we got up and would get a suggestion from the audience and make up a song. You know, and then we did it at the Troubadour one night. So that was my claim to fame. And I was came here to be in the production of Hair, but mm-hmm. I couldn't sing. I was in choir and stuff, but I didn't know any songs or anything. So I just asked them to give me a suggestion.
Yeah.
And then they said, what do you mean? And I said, yeah, just give me a word and I'll make up a song. The best time that ever worked was on Day of the Locust with John Schlesinger.
Oh, yeah.
I went in and he says, can you sing? And Dancer said, yeah. He says, well, sing me a Mexican revolutionary song of the 30s. And I says, well, give me a word. He says, give you a word? I said, yeah, just give me a word. He says, sunrise. And I just started, I started making out like a Mexican song, and they thought it was funny. So anyway, I never did sing the song in the movie because of the song that I had picked wasn't any good. So anyway, it was a great experience.
Nice. So is it true that Hal Wallace discovered you, and that's how you got cast in Red Sky at Morning? Yeah.
Actually, that's in my memoir and my documentary, and he discovered me and put me in I was in Red Sky at Morning that he produced, and then the very next one was Shootout with Gregory Peck.
Right.
And it was only 8 years, I think, after he had won the Oscar for
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird, man. So but I was never in awe,
Yeah.
anybody, because I had been doing it my whole life, and I was totally and still am like the most respectful of everybody. But I'm as respectful to the expert that's walking across the room as I am to the biggest star.
Mm-hmm.
That's just coming from the playground. That's just the way I've always played it and been and felt was the right thing.
Yeah. Another guest of mine was in that movie, Victoria Racimo.
Yeah, I haven't. I was wondering about her. Whatever happened? What did she go and do?
Well, she moved to New York, and she makes little films and documentaries. She has one coming out she told me about, which I got to email her about because I'm very curious about it and stuff. But she's doing very good, and she's a very sweet lady.
Yeah, she was really, really nice. She played my sister.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a very talented actress too.
Yeah, I didn't. She must have done a lot of theater after that, huh?
Oh yeah, she did. Well, she did a little bit before, but a lot more afterwards. And she did a lot of movies and TV shows. She got a little bit known from John Frankenheimer's horror movie Prophecy after that. But
wow.
But
yeah, I was just wondering about her because I'm working, like I said, on my documentary and my memoir,
mm-hmm.
and a one-man show that I'm filmed and will film more. But yeah, she was very, very how can I say, very kind of introverted.
Yeah. She was very, very open when I talked to her. We talked for a long time, and we even talked on the phone the day before and stuff. I could put her in touch with you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put her in touch with you. I'll email her and stuff. But you immediately started working nonstop after that. Did you decide you were going to pursue the movie business full time after the first one?
Oh, I was pursuing the movie business since I was 3 years old.
Oh.
And the first time, like I said, when I was 3, I jumped up on my godfather's boxing ring. So in my memoir, and that was the stage actor was born. So I was never going to be an actor. I was always an actor. If you understand what you can get the gist of that, it was like I was doing it. And then when we moved from that neighborhood that was like Latino and African American
mm-hmm.
to a Caucasian neighborhood. We were the first Mexican Americans in that neighborhood. We were actually just that street, because come to find out later there was more. But when we moved into the new neighborhood at 6, there was a doctor who lived next door, and he invited us to his daughter's birthday party, and he filmed it on his 8mm camera. So maybe like a month later or something, he projected it in the backyard, and so I got to see myself projected on the screen, and so I was a movie actor in my mind.
Yeah.
Now I was a movie actor, and now this is probably 1950. And in 55, I was always at the dancing and doing just everything I could, you know. I danced on the Uncle Charlie St. John show. It was like a Dick Clark in Corpus Christi. And dancing to Rock Around the Clock. The first time I'd ever heard Bill Haley's Rock Around the Clock. And so in 55, I was a television actor. So I had a stage actor. Later I became a Golden Glove stamp, and I never tied it in to my original performances in the ring. But it was always just as a performance, even when I was boxing.
Right.
Just like to be the biggest audience I'd ever had. Yeah, so I became a Golden Glove champ. But it was just pure performance.
Mm-hmm. You did the cult classic Car Wash. Was that a fun shoot?
Oh man, that was incredible. We just had a reunion shoot at Egyptian a couple of months ago, and it was great to see again. Yeah, Bill Duke was there, and and Melanie Marin, and
was Franklin Ajayi there? Was Franklin Ajayi there?
No. Just the only other actor was that played the guy, the gay guy that was Huggy on in Beretta.
No, on Starsky and Hutch, Antonio Fargas.
Antonio Fargas, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. And it was great that night. And Michael Schultz. Yeah,
one of the greats.
Eric Sherman. Yeah, it was an incredible. It was just. I probably always asked what was your favorite movie to work on, and Car Wash, and probably American Me, because I had been attached to it for so long with Eddie Olmos from the first day we met.
Yeah.
When he was a glorified extra on we were shooting a pilot for Medical Center, an offshoot, and he just came in to take a hit. He didn't even have any dialogue, but he had the script. He says, "You'll be the guy who kills me." This is the very first day we met. 14 years later, we made the movie. But during that time, we did 13 projects together.
Wow, who would have thought? Yeah, I mean, you guys came up in that era where the Latino actors were just starting to, get cast more, and they were getting cast in pretty good roles.
Yeah, especially because I was practically here first. Richard Iniguez, A. Martinez, and myself.
Yeah.
Were the ones always going up. And the great actor, Mario Anilov, who has since passed, he was the other guy in Red Sky at Morning. And he would have been one of the bigger stars, because he just had such a incredible presence.
Yeah.
Voice. He was Nicaraguan and Polish.
Huh.
But yeah, he quit after that. After Red Sky Morning, he quit acting.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
One of my favorite comedies of all time is The Jerk.
Yeah.
That classic. that classic scene at the gas station where you guys end up dragging the church on the bumper car. How was that rigged?
Yeah, they just tied it, tied it with the chains and stuff. But it was great because they were. Carl Reiner, just God, to be working with him and Steve Martin. But everybody's always asking, what was Steve Martin like? But he's really serious. He's just a real technician and very prepared. So after the takes, he would go into his trailer to just work on what he was going to do. As obviously Pacino later, but I'll let you get to that later. But the jerk was incredible. It was to be able to do those movies and just thinking back to them, I was more a rock and roll. I always wanted to be a rock and roller,
Yeah.
Like who didn't? But I was more like a rock and roll actor than a Chicano from the projects kind, because I came from Texas and I had gone to work at the World's Fair in 1965 as a barker. My first movie I did was called Jacket of Blood and Gold, where I was the lead. I was a bullfighter in 1964.
Mm-hmm.
And it got destroyed in a hurricane. But from 64, I went to work at the World's Fair. The director got me a job as a barker at the Moroccan Pavilion. And after that summer, I went back to school and joined the Marines for 6 months, 6 month reserves. Mm-hmm. But I did that 6 month reserves was as if though I was making a movie, and all my drill instructors were my directors. So that's been my mindset my whole life. It's been, that's when you asked before about when did I decide to be. No, I was always doing it. I was always in the same mindset. And you'll see, my book and my memoir both, and my book and my memoir, my memoir and my documentary should be finished this year. And it tells a lot of what I'm talking about now, but it was just to be born with a gift like that. In Spanish, we call it a don.
Yeah.
Don, D-O-N, a don. And when you're born with a don, it's like you're born with a gift. And that's the gift I was born with. My great-grandmother was an incredible storyteller. Mm. So she had me, mesmerized since I can remember her first stories, So it was always, she was like a curandera, like a shaman type, and she passed it on to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been an amazing ride.
Yeah. You also in that car with you was Trinidad Silva, who died way too young.
Yeah, in '88, in a car accident. I got to meet his son about a year ago. Mm-hmm. He was just a baby, and he made it. He was with him, and he got thrown out of the car and survived. But Trinidad was his first audition. I auditioned with him for Alambrista, Robert M. Young's a movie with him and Domingo Ambris, who was in American Me, great actor. And but yeah, and Trinidad would walk proud. Yeah, I worked with and really loved that guy. He was so authentic. He was one of a kind for sure.
He was great on Hill Street Blues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any good stories about working with Willie Nelson on Honeysuckle Rose?
Yeah, man, those guys were amazing. I mean, Willie was not only a chick magnet, but a dude magnet. Everybody, animals, horses, birds, frogs. Didn't matter, man. Everybody just gravitated toward him because he just was amazing. And I've been watching on PBS, the documentaries on the country singers, Western and Patsy Cline, and that was one of her last songs from when she did Crazy, and he had titled it Stupid first and changed his mind, but it was amazing because the group, and like I said, I've been teaching improv for 50 years every chance I get, so I'm always in everybody's business. When I'm doing a movie, man, if there are newcomers or whatever, I'll throw in my 2 cents and teach them as much as I can about the camera, and through an organic method, and not a method. It's just how to be themselves and how to count off your steps when you go to your mark, and not look down, and just how to do all that stuff. And so they would, after we would get through filming every day, they would go off and play at a different bar or different place every night. And I said, man, you guys, this is going to get, you guys are going to wear out, man, because this is, what did I know, man? Those guys, they didn't sleep for the 10 weeks we were filming. They just were working day and night. It was just amazing. That group was just fabulous.
Yeah, I saw a news story not too long ago. Willie Nelson's trying to change the corporate structure of the cannabis industry, and I'm just thinking to myself, good luck.
What do you mean the corporate structure?
He wants to get rid of the corporate side of the cannabis industry.
Companies owning it.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of that. And I'm just thinking, good luck. Once money's being made, you can't go back. No,
it's those Canadian companies came in with all that big money, and of course Denver was the first ones out there. And and they were. It was amazing times to be their bus driver, and to be. And I had been. Did you know who Tony Joe White was?
Tony Joe White, no.
He sang "Poke Salad Annie." Did you ever hear that song? Elvis did it, and then
I probably
Rainy Night in Georgia was probably his biggest hit. It Brooks Bennett.
I probably if I heard him.
Rainy Night in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
I know that song.
Yeah. He passed away. We had the same birthday a year apart. He was a year older, but I went with him from Texas. He was from Oak Grove, Louisiana, and he was just a funky guy, man, with a deep old voice, and just rhythm and blues player like you never couldn't believe. And I went with him to Nashville to record that in '68 when I was back and forth from Mexico City. And '68 was an incredible year. I was there with him, and Martin Luther King passed, and I got into the production of Hair in Mexico, and that's how I ended up coming here. And my buddy that was from Acapulco, we shot. We performed it in Acapulco, on a stage that had no ceiling. Just the way it was built. It was crazy. So when we sang "When the Moon is in the Seventh House," we were looking up to the full moon. It was pretty amazing. And we only lasted one night because the president of Mexico's daughter saw it and had us thrown out of the country. But the guy who was one of the leads, my friend from Acapulco, was a friend of my wife. And so when I got here to do the production here, which I thought I was coming to do it, I said, no, you have to audition. And so anyway, I went. The girl who had been in the play with me in Mexico was in the production here in L.A., and she took me. She had like a little motor scooter. She took me to the Whiskey A Go-Go. See Yippee. My friend Yippee, who just passed away this year, but Yippee said, I'm going to take you to meet my friend tomorrow, and he took me to my wife's store, my second day in Hollywood. So we've been together. About 6 months after that, she came and to one of my improv shows at the Tiffany Theater. We were called the Synergy Trust, and we were an offshoot of the committee. But she took me in, and I had a place for 6 weeks, and I was homeless, and then I would just crash different places. But I was doing workshops every day. So I was at the theater. I would clean up the theater and take cat naps during the day, and then hang out on Hollywood and Vine with a quadriplegic guy that I had met. That was like a 6-week to 8-week stint that I did there on Hollywood and Vine at night, all night with a quadriplegic guy. So it was just, but I never felt homeless. You know, I mean, this is where I was coming my whole life. And so when I was in Mexico City, the same thing. I lived outside behind the University of the Americas, outside of the city, so sometimes we couldn't get back home. So we just roamed the streets all night and just till morning came. And it was just an incredible journey that is no different today than it was then, you know, for me. Being that I knew this gift that I was given, and I wasn't anxious and never have been about trying to become a star or anything, which was after I did my first 5 features, and I made $9,600 my first year.
Wow.
And we found out that if we got married, we could save $600 in income taxes. So we got married on Christmas Eve. We went out to get in the car, and somebody had stolen it. So my stepson was with us. He lived with his grandmother, so we caught the bus and went downtown and got married. And it's just been a pretty phenomenal ride that I've been. My wife and I have only been apart 20 days in the going on 51 years that we've known each other. Well, we met 51 years ago. I got here March the 18th of 69, and he took me to her door March the 19th, the very next day. So yeah, we've been traveled all over the world together and filming and just having a great time.
That's wonderful. Most marriages in Hollywood don't last that long.
Most marriages anywhere don't last that long.
Well, now, yeah. I think there's been more divorce in the last 20 years in the country than ever before. Some statistic along those lines.
Yeah, it's just it's amazing how it is. That, you know, when you make a commitment, I've always been loyal. We both came from marriages that lasted. My mom and dad, her mom and dad. So it's where did you come from?
I'm from San Francisco.
Oh, and what was your? You don't sound that old. You must be like 37.
I'm going to be 37 in a couple months.
Okay. Yeah, I told you I'm a curandero, man. So watch out.
Yeah, you got ESP.
Yeah. It's kind of that's the kind of a feeling that I take on to a set. You know, it's all about the positive, because it can be nerve-wracking for young actors that are, there for the first time, and you're like, just put them at ease, put everybody at ease. It's like no big deal, but it's watching. I was listening to Howard Stern and Tom Brady yesterday,
right?
And I really became a bigger fan of Tom Brady after listening to him. But because about how he's done his whole physical workouts and his food intake and how much he watches what he does, and Howard asked him if he had abs, and he said no. He said you get muscles, you're tight, you get tight.
Yeah.
So it's just being fluid, and that's one thing I could always do is move and playing all the sports. And my real name is Pablo Alfonso Serna, but my brother couldn't say baby, so he said Pepe. And being from Texas, I was either Pepe or Pee-Pee.
Yeah.
So I've always been able to out-hustle everybody that was around. I just had more energy, and I think it had a lot to do with my name.
Mm-hmm.
I was born with how I was born, right? But still that positive input from people just calling out my name. I think there's a lot to that. I totally believe in that.
Yeah. How was making Vice Squad?
That was interesting too, and that was I had just done a behind the scenes for the release, the DVD release. I did like an hour interview, and Gary Swanson did an hour, and the director and different people. It's an interesting thing. I was really impressed with Gary Swanson because I didn't really see what he had done afterwards, but he was a high diver like in New Jersey or something before. He had done some incredible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's always amazing to see what people have done and since and before, and it's like Victoria Racimo. I think isn't she like, if I remembered right, she was like Filipina and English.
Yes, Filipino and English, and she always played Latin. She always played Indian. She always played different nationalities.
Yeah. It was. And how were you a fan of hers to get her to your podcast?
She was in Ernest Goes to Camp, and I used to watch that movie all the time when I was a kid, and that and Prophecy and a couple other things she did made me want to seek her out.
And what do you do besides what you're doing right now?
I've been an amateur comedian and actor for many years, and after I had my car accident 5 years ago, I decided that I was going to try to pursue the business after working dead-end jobs, and I was an alcoholic for a long time, and a lot of bad stuff happened to me. And so I've been on disability the last 5 years, recovering from my accident and doing this podcast for the last 3 years. And it's gone very well for me. I'm very grateful every day with the people I get to talk to and just life in general.
Are you familiar with, do you know Clint Culp?
Who?
Clint Culp.
Clint
C-U-L-P.
Culp. No.
He has a podcast where he interviews a lot of Hollywood. He's an actor, does a lot of commercials. He's from my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And I did his podcast while I was in Texas during Christmas this year.
Mm-hmm.
But so one of the things that I would suggest to you is that I suggest to every actor is to create your own one-man show.
Oh yeah, I've been working on mine.
Yeah, and most people, one-man show is their story, right?
Right.
Yeah, mine was characters. And when I did you ever see the PJs?
No.
Oh, you didn't see the PJs? That was Eddie Murphy's claymation series.
I heard of it, but yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's really good. Anyway, one of the writers, actors, Mark Wilmore, his brother is Larry Wilmore, and who was the showrunner, got me to create it because I had done a lot of writing, but most of my characters were like poetry or in verse. So as my one-man show, he said, give me 3 of your characters that are 1.5 minutes each. And he was going to try to sell them to an internet company. This was 20 years ago. So 3 characters of 1.5 minutes each went to 30 characters. And that's like my first show I did with a live audience. And I mean live audience because it was in a bar in Texas. And people were not there to listen to my one-man show. They were there to drink and talk and whoop and holler. So I did it in the middle of all that, which was fine with me. Because, like I said, from the playground, you just do it. But it's really good because as an actor, we're not like musicians who can woodshed. Mm-hmm. And you know the terminology of woodshedding with musicians?
Woodshedding, no.
Woodshedding is when they go to the woodshed and practice their instrument.
Oh, okay.
That's when they always practice. They're always practicing. John Coltrane, his documentaries, a lot of good stuff on Netflix, but he's just always rehearsing, always practicing. And that's the thing that we as actors don't get to do because you're waiting for your next part. And you know how that goes, man. It's terrible. And then when you do, you get a line or two. But when you do create your own show, then you get to do it because you're memorizing it. And the more you memorize it, the better you get because that's with my improvisation, my workshops that I've done for 50 years are really amazing because it's just like we studied with, you know who Dale Close was?
Oh, yes, from Second City, right?
Yeah. Dale was my first improvisational teacher here. But I landed with the workshop at the committee. It was also in San Francisco, but
yep.
Probably they were way before you were born.
I could tell you all the guys who were in that group: Howard Hessman, Rob Reiner, Fred Willard, Gary Goodrow, right? Yeah.
So we were their workshop from there. That came to their workshops, right? Mm-hmm. But ours was different. Ours was totally improvised every single time. We would call the Synergy Trust. Mm-hmm. And it was the 3 things where you support, you trust, and you risk. And the first 3 lines, I tell you who you are, you tell me who I am. I tell you where we are, and then you tell me more about where we are, then I tell you why we're here, you tell me more about why we're here. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to do, to follow that, but it's always you're giving somebody else the character. So it takes it away from you being, the sheriff with a black leather outfit and the lariat and the guns. You make the other person that person. So you don't fly. You're not up there to kind of think of something for yourself. Mm-hmm. You're concentrating on other people. And when you do that, man, the magic happens. And then we're studying with the different people. I don't know if you've ever done anything with colors or inanimate objects. Have you ever used them in a performance? I'll just give you for instance.
Performance? No, not really.
Like I'm going to continue to talk to you, but my favorite one, because it's the most radical, drastic one, is if I'm going to use the color black. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to start talking to you now with that underlying color. And I can get as excited as I want because man, it has been so incredible. But now, if I use just like a sunrise, say, oh yeah, man, I got here to Hollywood and the whiskey of Go was, and there's hippies with every color in the rainbow were walking down the streets, and nobody could be smoking grass outside. And so anyway, you use, like, one of my favorites was, I'll do one of my characters.
Okay.
I used one of my favorite inanimate objects was an old pair of cowboy boots. It's, all wrinkled and crinkled up.
Yeah.
So, my name is Robert Joe Junior Sanchez, and I am a rootin' tootin', straight shooting son of a gun. Amigos, it's here to inspire you. Emigrantes, estudiantes, and profesionales to learn to read and write in English, Espanol, English, and Spanish. And then I'm going to change it to like a typo. English is a cousin, because in order to beat the gringo at bingo, you got to learn the lingo. Anyway, you just use different things. You can just write them down and try to color any colors, anything you want.
Yeah.
Clay pot. And just like we're always trying to. I have and I didn't do it. I can get other people to do it, but like I have a high pitched voice. Mm-hmm. I'm so energetic, and it always is coming out, and it's up there, right? But if I had done, and I didn't take this class long enough, but I had one teacher that said, when you speak, like put your hand in front of your mouth, and say a couple of things. Put your hand, your palm in front of right in front of your mouth, and say, and start talking.
Okay, I'm doing it.
You start talking to say your name, where you're from, where you're da. Now, can you feel the breath on your palm?
Yes, I can.
You can. Now, concentrate and keep your palm up there, but speak inwardly.
Okay.
Like you're sucking in the words as you're talking, because that makes you take it to the diaphragm, and it gives you more resonance, and it gives you. It's hard because it's like working out. It's like,
yeah.
How many push-ups can you do? But another great one that I learned was talk as if you're talking to somebody on the telephone. Mm-hmm. And it becomes more intimate.
That's true.
And everything, it just becomes like that. And one of my favorite things to use is when whatever thing you're doing, is to let somebody in on a secret. So now, I'm going to tell you how I made it. And I got here on an airplane. I got on the bus. And as we drove, La Cienega Boulevard, I saw the oil wells pumping. My father was an oil man. We ended up at the Roosevelt Hotel, crossing the Chinese Garden, and I caught a cab to the Aquarius Theater. So anyway, you see, when using all these different things, a whole different thing comes up, because we have to get away from, we memorize our dialogue. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, it didn't have to be an actor, just any salesman, anything that's trying to do something. But when you let somebody in on a secret, man, you're letting them into your soul. And you're just personalizing it. And it's like, it really works. Well, you can tell, right? I mean,
right.
So that's been, and I've been doing it from even before I knew what I was doing. I was doing workshops with the Boys Club. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid, I always did them. I could always, because I came from the playground. I was a quarterback. I was the pitcher and the catcher. It was hard throwing a ball and catching it at the same time, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in acting classes in high school. We did improv, and it just at the time I was just like, this is just way too hard. It was like my least favorite thing to do. But now that I've gotten older and I've done stand up for as long as I have, for 14 years now, I'm a little bit more open minded to it.
Yeah, yeah. When you don't, when you can, when you can just go with the flow, when you can go with just association, word association, and just you start doing. I don't know if you've ever Googled improv, but there's thousands upon thousands of exercises on that you can Google,
Mm-hmm.
and you just do them for yourself.
I should check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So,
let's get into Scarface. Is that like one of the highlights of your career?
well, highlights because of what it became.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was I couldn't get in. They wouldn't see me, and they wanted Edward James Olmos for one of the parts. I can't really tell you which one.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't do it because of the negativity. But what he did do is that he agreed to be to read with the casting directors or with De Palma, all the actors. But he said under one condition, that they would give him 15 minutes with every actor that was going to go in front of De Palma. And I don't know why they did it, because he wouldn't do the movie, but all the actors got to work with him 15 minutes before they went in to see De Palma. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I went in, and then they flew me to New York, and we did like there were six actors for almost every character. And we had like a round robin auditions, improv, all kinds of stuff at the Miriam Colon Theater in New York City. And that was my deal, man. I could wail this. Nobody could do it like I could, But so after the first day, I came back to the hotel and I told my wife, if I don't get this, I'm going to be really surprised. Then the next day, when I go for the second day, I saw Steve Bauer talking to the casting director, and I knew that they already wanted him. They wanted him, and he turned down. I think the movie, the Billy Mills story that Robbie Benson ended up doing, but they wouldn't give him the part. And Scarface, even though they offered this other part, but he had the balls to say no. I'm gonna, because he was pretty sure, I guess, that he would get it. But anyway, they brought me in to kind of make him a little more street because he was so beautiful and clean cut. But anyway, so obviously he got it, and then a few weeks later, Eddie called me and says, "You want to read for Angel?" Mm-hmm. I said, "What part is that?" And he said, "Well, just come." He says, "You got to be in 15 minutes." So they had offered the part to another friend of mine, which was actually Domingo Ambris, that was in American Me, and was also in The Jerk, and then with Trini Lopez. He was the priest that was he juggling cats or something. Anyway, he was doing a movie with Ryan O'Neal and Bear Cruz. And so anyway, I went in and I got the movie, and they had to pay me for half a year, for 25 weeks, because I did the rehearsals and worked at the beginning, and then didn't work till the end again. So it was pretty amazing. I thought it was something to work with him and watch, one of the greatest actors of all time, right there, with you at all times. And so when that happens, you're there. You're not like, oh man, how did I get here? What am I? No, you're supposed to be there. doing it.
Yeah.
You know, you like you. It didn't matter who you're going to interview. You do your research. You know the questions you want to ask.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who it is. You want to get down to the nitty gritty. So yeah, it was. Since then, it's been great because that's the icebreaker for most kids that I do my improv workshops and motivation for nowadays. To get to them, the fact that I was in that movie, then it's a lot easier for them to listen to me. I've got their attention. So
people watch this version more than the original version with Paul Muni and George Raft, and you know it's great that people watch this movie too, but they should also watch the original also because that's a great movie. It's a Howard Hawks movie, you know.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's amazing. It's amazing what it did, the actors that were in it, and how it became. And that the rappers were the ones who made it what it is today. Because you know that part of it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the irony of it, but that's the funny part about life, isn't it? That the tipping point.
You find
the Malcolm Gladwell's tipping point. How you get to that point, and things go good, things go bad. I mean, it's amazing. The main thing I tell everybody is I don't know, acting is just so hard to make a living. It's just near impossible, and especially if you make it when you're young, because you don't know how to save your money and have your money work for you.
mm-hmm.
You know, I got into real estate, and that saved me in so many ways. And my wife was very frugal, still is. So we live out in the desert, and I have a jungle in my backyard that I love. And you asked about my painting. I continue to paint after her. She motivates me, and the yard is the same. I paint with plants.
Mm-hmm.
Planting is my jungle, and so it's incredible. Right now, that's what I was doing earlier, is going over my documentary and making some of the changes that they're trying to make right now.
Yeah.
And and the book too, the memoir of all the stuff that what I've done. It's a love story. It's a behind the scenes of acting, and then it's the story of my life. You know, so it's amazing to be able to do it. You know, and still wake up and have something you want to do, to create, and not just sit there, because that couch is awfully easy to fall into.
Mm-hmm. It is. It sure is. Did you have a good time making The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai?
Oh man, that was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That was see, that's one of my other, I don't know if you ever looked at it, but I didn't think of it until my documentary was Victor Payan and his wife Pocha. They had the film festival in Santa Ana,
mm-hmm.
and they interviewed them for my documentary, and she was saying that I was like the first rock and roll Chicano,
mm-hmm.
with the Buckaroo Banzai with a double belt, and this guy that was not an East LA Chicano. I was like a cowboy, like from Reno. And so it was interesting that she picked up on that, and that I didn't, from improv, I could do different, all kinds of, you just do different characters all the time. People give you different characters to do, and you just, it's called the yes and adjustment. Yes,
mm-hmm.
and continue. Because if it's yes, but, that's, yes and is positive, yes, but is positive, negative. And you don't want to go there. You always want to, if somebody says that you're a priest, then you got to go on with it and say yeah, and they're not. Oh no, I'm not a priest. I'm you know how people do. They already have an idea in their head. You can't, and that's when you get screwed up. It's when you can't get out of your own way, and you're judgmental. When you're judgmental, especially with yourself, that's the worst. The worst thing we can do is judge ourselves, and because then you're going to be judging everybody else, and then it all starts there.
Mm-hmm.
I think. So no, but yeah, Buckaroo Banzai, working with all those guys, Billy Vera and the Beat, and to be in the band, and I had played the saxophone as a kid, but not. I acted like I was playing the saxophone in the 8th and ninth grade.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't play it. I could hit a few notes, but so they asked me if I could play because you had to play an instrument. And I said, "Well, I used to act like I could play." I said, "I can't play." I said, "But I can do an air sax." And it was William Richter and oh God, I can't think of the conductor, the musical. Bones Howell, I think it was. Bones Howell was a big producer. And so I decided. And I was playing this saxophone, Chinatown. So they were cracking up, and I got the part right then and there from playing this pretend saxophone.
Yeah, it's
that came from the improv stuff that you don't judge it, you just go for it. Like I did with John Schlesinger and just sang and made up a song, and with all my heart and soul, man, just threw it out there like I was like John Coltrane.
Oh yeah.
Just that. But that's like I say, since I was 3, I knew I could get up there. And that I was totally committed to it, like I was playing sports. I was great. Like the linebacker, I was in the 8th grade. I weighed 86 pounds. I was 5 foot and 3/4 of an inch,
mm-hmm.
and the line averaged 170 pounds. And I was the outstanding football player of the year because I could get to the runners, the quarterback, always before they could hardly hand the ball off because I was so quick. I wasn't fast, I was just quick. And I'd hang on to them like a leech until the rest of the team came and jumped on them.
Yeah, it's a great movie. You have Peter Weller, Jeff Goldblum, Lewis Smith, who I've been trying to get on for the longest time. I know he's a teacher in Santa Monica.
All the water, oh no. Oh, I'm going to have to cut it short. My wife just came in. We had a leak in the
mm-hmm.
closet, and the water was coming in. She said I had put some pans up above, and that they fell down, and the water's all in the closet.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, man.
No, that's perfectly all right. Well,
okay.
Pepe, this was such a great honor. You're an inspirational man, and I can't wait till your documentary and your memoir comes out. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it. Pepe Serna. Ain't he a cool dude? I mean, oh my God, what an inspirational story that he has. Just like so many of my guests do. But, oh my God, it was amazing to talk to him. And even though it was cut short, it was still a great talk. And we got a lot covered. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Wherever you go, there you are. Later, dudes.